I don't know what song that is.
I just made it up. I promise I will not start every podcast obnoxious, okay?
Not everyone, but a good amount of them.
Yeah, just a good amount.
This is gonna be episode 7, and that's 7 for 7.
I like the bass in his mic. How
I know.
come our mic doesn't have that?
His mic is a little different, and also he just has a deeper and more robust voice than you do.
I think that's a lie, because I've had to deal with hearing Suki's voice on my recordings, and Suki's is like a deep, dark, black man.
Yeah, you would
like,
not put his voice with his body
at all.
Nope.
Especially when he sings.
Like, I feel like audibly, Suki is sexy.
I can allow that. That's a radio statement here.
All right.
And we've succeeded in making Nakansi uncomfortable.
Well, no, I just don't want to edit all of this.
You don't have to edit all of it. I can cut it in Audacity. We can cut out most of this.
On that note, now that Nakansi's nice and uncomfortable, let's start the pod. Welcome to Kung Fu Friday. We are Hidden Shadows of the Secret Chamber. My name is Alex.
My name is Nakansi.
And everyone knows me as Khan.
We are the Shadows, y'all. Guys, we're coming to you. We're so excited with the movie that we watched. But before we get into the movie that we watched, I actually wanted to do a new little segment where we kind of talk about the things that we've been watching as of late. You know, we want to recommend good shows, good movies to you. So I wanted to share a few of the things that I've been watching that's been in my queue. So I watched, this was a pleasant surprise because there was so much hype around it. And I was like, oh man, is it just going to be too much hype and we're just going to get honey-dicked and it's just going to last for like 10 seconds and then we're going to have to awkwardly get dressed afterwards and order ourselves an Uber? No, it was great. I watched Jumanji, guys. I watched Jumanji and it was amazing. It was hilarious. Jack Black, like, just had me on my ass, like, laughing and crying.
I did not watch it, but Jordan saw it with Myron and said that Jack Black is the only person who could be both himself and a teenage white girl.
Oh my god.
That was hilarious.
That just seemed like that was one of the best selling points. It seemed like a star-studded cast.
It was really good, man. Freaking Kevin Hart and The Rock, just a dynamic duo right there.
I want to watch every movie with them in it. It doesn't matter what the movie's about. They're just hilarious together.
Yeah, fucking chemistry on those two motherfuckers. But you know what? It was really cool watching The Rock explore kind of like a new like aspect of acting, because you know what I mean. He always kind of plays.
He definitely gets typecasted to his role, and from what he's like the nerdy character.
Yeah, he kind of
that
expanded
game,
his horizons in his acting.
I mean, that seems like it seems like it was well scripted for him, because obviously everybody that I've talked to has had tons of fun with that movie. And another thing for me personally is that it again, I haven't seen it, but it sounds like they actually use video game mechanics.
Yes,
like as a storytelling device.
It was like a quest.
Like fun.
Yeah, dude, it was like a quest, and a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. I won't talk too much more about it. Go watch it. Khan, what have you been watching?
So in our missed take, RIP, we talked about some video game content, anime and stuff. And I really do recommend, if you haven't checked it out, I'm surprised by how many people haven't actually seen Overlord. Overlord is a ton of fun. It's a really fun take on the whole MMORPG anime aspect.
Yeah, that's getting huge right now.
For storytelling. But also, if they haven't seen it, is Netflix has a special called Dad of Light. And I love that series. It was really, really, really like heartfelt. I actually felt like I was almost every character that showed in that. And to give a quick synopsis and hopefully get other viewers interested in it, it is about the main character, the protagonist, finds out that his dad is retiring, and he's like, "Oh, I'll get my dad a retirement, gift, because like, why wouldn't you do that? That's
right, right.
know.
It's protocol. I think it's son protocol.
Right, but specifically, he gets him Final Fantasy 14.
Okay.
Because him and his dad played Final Fantasy 3 when he was a kid. And from there, he makes it his. He calls it it's called the Dad of Light project, and it is his dad is a complete noob, and he goes out of his way to hide the fact that he is the character that is interacting with him. So it's more like the idea of like an online friend. You're just making an online friend, and somebody teaching you, tutoring you, making bonds that way. But the other aspect of the storytelling is like, this is my secret identity, and like I'm finding out things about my dad, and
that sounds pretty dope.
It's
on Netflix.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. It is only 7 episodes, because the 8th episode is kind of like an OVA episode.
Okay.
Like an extra story, and it was really heartfelt. I
Fuck yes.
teared up.
Ooh,
it was good.
Tearjerker over here. What about you, Const?
I actually took one of your recommendations, and it's an anime called Kino's Journey. Now, funny thing is, the one that you watched was a remake.
Yes.
The original one came out in 2003 and was from the same creative minds that brought us Ghost in the Shell
I didn't know
and Serial Experiments Lane, which
Ooh.
they're crazy animes, like
Serial
mind
Experiment
twisting,
Lane
make
is-
you think about shit stuff.
that. Okay.
But I started watching the original Kino's Journey, and I fell in love with it. Every episode is a self-contained episode. Eventually, you'll get to a couple episodes where they're like 2-parters. But amazing stuff. The way they flip everything they talk about, from social status to different cultures to religions, and how it blends together. Every single country this girl visits with her talking motorcycle, she only stays there no more than 3 days, but and she just experiences everything. And there's this one episode in the original one that I'm watching so far where she talks to 3 different people working on the same train track, but they have never seen each other, and all of the jobs that they're doing counteract the other person's job. But if one of them stopped, then one of those people would not have a job.
Oh, wow.
But they don't know about each other, which is weird.
That's trippy. I might have to go back and watch the original Kino's journey, because that wasn't in the remake.
Some of the stories are like, phenomenal.
I have a feeling that the original is probably better than the remake.
Yeah.
So, yeah, dude.
But yeah.
Great recommendations.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the meat and potatoes, which I have sitting to the left of me right now. That's the right.
My left.
We are usually eating
Con's
dinner
left.
before and after this podcast.
And it's
Sometimes
usually
during.
What are we eating today? Huh?
well, a nice stir fry with some chicken, some nuts, carrots, and scallions. So
Yeah.
your mom is a master chef. We watched Fist of Fury.
New.
Oh, the
Fist of
new
Fury.
Fist of Fury.
Yes.
We watched
and-
Fist of Fury before this. That's why.
So we got in the mood. All right, we're starting feeling good. We had a booty call, and we called it back. 4 seconds. So this was Jackie Chan's debut. Conti, you're always full of some dope history facts, so I want you to fucking lay it on us. Ja Rule style.
It's murder. This film came out in 1976, and it was from the same director of the original Fist of Fury with Bruce Lee that came out in 1972. At this time, Bruce Lee had already passed away, and everybody was looking for the next Bruce Lee. And the director took Jackie Chan and said, I want you to play this part. And he ended up making quite a few films with Jackie Chan, and this was all before Jackie found his own style. So you see him in more serious roles, but at the same time you start to see how he has these strong facial expressions for his acting in his fight scenes. But this was the first time we actually got to see any of that, which is the reason why Bruce Lee chose him to be the stunt double in Enter the Dragon, because of his facial expression, and he has the biggest like stuntman like facial screen time,
like reactions, like hit in the gut.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was fantastic. So I'm going to enter in our favorite segment, and this is where I try to sum up
the plot.
In
a run-on sentence.
In a one run-on sentence. What am I trying to keep it at, Con? What is?
I thought that the new target time was 45.
Okay.
Because by giving you a shorter time, that way we were going to actually make it under 2 minutes.
Okay. Here we go.
All right, ready? We're gonna keep count.
Okay, I gotta get this.
All right, but I can't show you the stopwatch.
Okay, so. Yeah, I'm gonna get subconscious about it.
Okay, you ready?
Or insecure about it. Okay.
Go.
All right. So basically, Jackie is like an Aladdin-esque character, begging or stealing in the streets of Taiwan, and basically this chick from the original Fist of Fury school comes to Taiwan trying to revamp her school. Jackie Chan gets caught in the mix, becomes the new hero, just like Aladdin, and she's basically like the genie, granting him kung fu powers, and then he goes and fights a bunch of Japanese, lots of racism towards Japanese, lots of racial slurs, and then Jackie fights and avenges the school.
I told you.
How did I do?
45.
Under 45?
You got 38 seconds.
Woo!
I told you. Giving you a shorter time, you're gonna suddenly be like, wait, no, I gotta do it. It's gonna be it.
Basically, this movie's Aladdin, guys.
Yes.
No, it's not.
Aladdin. Wait, who is Abu?
But with kung fu. Oh yeah.
Are you sure
His
Abu's
grandpa?
His grandpa.
No.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
it's his. Oh no, you're right. It's his grandpa.
Yes.
That's why.
And Jafar was
the Japan.
for sure the Japanese dude, because he was kind of kind of like a kooky, fucking villain. And that's the word that I was struggling to find.
Oh
guys.
wait, do you have all of the notes, by the way, man?
Let's go right into the plot.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Well, for the plot, we give number scores based off of out of 10.
Yes.
Okay. I give the plot damn it. I forgot my numbers.
Oh shit. Well, tell us how you feel about it.
How do I feel? I give the plot, I want to give it a 7, but I think I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
And that's because a lot was going on with the plot. It was actually a pretty complex plot. They spent a whole hour of the film just explaining the plot.
Yeah.
And it was cool seeing how it tied into the first Fist of Fury, because
Right.
it's a sequel. But yeah, there was slow parts, which is why I gave it the lower rating, because of the pacing. But yeah.
I'm also gonna give it a 6 out of 10. Is that what you got?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 6 out of 10. Just because I mean, it was like a nice little history lesson, I guess. Japan. You went into this a little bit, right? That Japan was trying to
Take over China.
Yeah, and I guess they had such a strong presence in Shanghai that they fled to Taiwan, only to find that there were just as present out there.
Yeah.
And kind of they were kind of suppressing like the Chinese, the other citizens of Taiwan
in the same way as the first one.
Mm-hmm.
But Bruce Lee's character made such an impact against everybody, which is why the students of that school that Bruce Lee was with had to flee to Taiwan.
Oh, okay.
But they ended up in the same trouble.
Yeah, so it was cool. They went into depth, maybe into a little too much depth. We were talking earlier and saying that maybe 30-40 minutes of the movie could have been cut out. But yeah, that's why I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, this was a 2-hour film.
Yeah, so
But it felt like it was a little longer
3
than 2 hours.
Just kidding.
No.
It felt like 2 hours. The first Fist of Fury was only 2 hours, and I say only because it didn't feel like 2 hours.
yeah,
Right.
This new one was 2 hours.
definitely picks up after the second hour. So, Con, you're
Picks up after the second hour. So
Yeah.
the end of the film, right?
Yes.
after the first hour. God damn it! God damn it!
No, we used up all of Alex's brain power trying to get him to finish under 2 minutes.
Gone. It's gone.
Words, they don't flow like my shirts. All right. I gave it a 6 because, like everybody else said, there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of plot developments that could have happened, and then we had to sit through an hour of world building that I didn't appreciate at all. It was just too slow. I remember in John Wick, there is essentially no plot because all of it is world building, but the plot is literally, oh man, my wife died from cancer and she left me this beautiful dog and this Russian jerkwad just killed it. I'm gonna kill him. That's the plot. That's the plot of John Wick, and everything else after that is amazing. This was more along the lines of, and there's another development, and now we know about how, okay, so now they're in Taiwan. And why did they go? Okay, we're an hour into the film. We didn't really need to know that they fled to Taiwan to escape the Japanese, to find more Japanese, and now there's a new school that has to go on. There's a rebellion. It didn't feel like it was told well.
Yeah, not not the best execution.
Right, and the execution of that really drops it a whole point from the potential 7 that it could have been, and yes, that's why it's a 6.
No worries.
Next one, let's go right into the musical score.
All right, so the music was, at least for me, it was a 6. It did its job. I liked a lot of it, but it wasn't as memorable as the first Fist of Fury, where all of a sudden there was much more like Western feel to the soundtrack, and that's like new Western like theater score, not just like
Yeah.
Like they had they used some electric guitars for a couple of the trills and other sound effects, and I think the sound direction overall in the first Fist of Fury was just much more impressive. I did like a lot of the sound direction in this movie, but at the same time, the overall score didn't keep its weight up to go along with it.
Yeah. I'm also gonna give it a 6 out of 10. It didn't ruin the movie for me at all. I thought it was still dramatic in the right times and cheerful in the right times, and definitely sent the ambiance. But like Khan said, nothing huge, nothing out of the ordinary. I guess they wanted to go back to a little more traditional feel, traditional vibe, maybe because they were the setting was in Taiwan. I don't know, but you know, it is what it is, and you know, it served its purpose.
Right.
I also give it a 6 out of 10. It wasn't anything spectacular. It felt fairly generic, actually.
That's yeah. Again, another reason that I am being a harsher critic of it, is just Fist of Fury 1 was impressive.
It was really cool.
It really sticks in your head. You start appreciating a lot of how the story is being told with music at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And this was just like, it's doing its job.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
with sequels, you always expect it to be more grand, bigger, better. But this one, it wasn't bigger or better. Yeah. The only thing that saved this film was Jackie Chan.
For sure.
right.
What's the next category?
Let's do acting and cinematography. We'll do them both at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll jump into it. Cinematography, I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. I thought that for that era, for the 70s, again, there's a lot of awesome new techniques that they were experimenting with, and like a lot of cool cutaways where, you know, you're watching one character in his or her fight, and then, you know, they throw a kick, and all of a sudden the bottom of the foot that you see is the bottom of the foot of another character, and then boom, you're in the next fight of that character. So I thought that was freaking badass. That like caught my eye right there. I was like, whoa, that was dope. You know what I mean? And I love the cinematography. I won't go too much into it. And then the acting, I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. They could have done a little better, but Jackie was a phenom in there. It was his debut, so I want to be careful that I'm not selling this movie short. It's an exciting, monumental beginning of an illustrious career, and I thought that he did a fantastic job, and he definitely, I mean, some of the other actors in there lost some points for the movie, but Jackie definitely performed.
This film is definitely for that Jackie Chan film. Not necessarily. Well, if you're a kung fu fan, then you're a fan of Jackie Chan. So I mean, this film should definitely be watched. Just to say that you watched it, I'm probably only gonna watch it once, which is what we did.
Yeah.
But Jackie Chan, amazing. Acting, you can see the beginning of his charisma, how it really started, and cinematography wise, very, very enjoyable. They do some interesting transitions and some interesting one shots as well, where they just have this close up of these soldiers running underneath this bridge, and then it slowly pans out to show an empty village, and it makes you feel like you are one of those the villagers, like watching all these soldiers come through your city or your village.
Yeah.
Village. But so cinematography, definitely, I agree. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. Nothing amazing, because that comes later with Jackie Chan.
Yeah.
But some very interesting choices, and very, it still doesn't compare to Fist of Fury.
Right.
Acting wise, I will give it a 6 out of 10, just because Jackie Chan. That's it. Yeah.
You mentioned earlier that this is from the same writer and director of Fist of Fury. So with that in mind, I'm going to give the acting a 5.
Whoa.
I am really disappointed in his ability to bring out because a lot of the cast was actually the same, with the lead role and the main antagonist being new people, and I didn't feel like it was as memorable as Fist of Fury. I felt like the whole cast came together, worked really well in Fist of Fury, and it didn't show off that well.
Okay, so there's a certain scene in there where they're having dinner. I'm sorry, I'm extending this time, and I shouldn't be. I'll make it quick. There is a scene where they're all eating dinner around the Japanese like headmaster, and all the kung fu teachers are like, or headmasters are like kind of kissing ass to this guy, and it's such bad acting that I half expected everybody to start having sex. Like, I'm like, this is like the acting before, like, you know, like when porn starts to try to like create a premise. And I was like, yeah, at some point everybody's just gonna have an orgy in this room. Like,
At least we didn't have a stripper scene. That was nice because I did not like the stripper scene in
you know what?
Fist of Fury.
I wanted one for what I had to sit through.
We had the other scene. The other scene, remember? The bath.
Oh God! All right.
What do you give it for cinematography?
But yeah, reiterate, I still give it a 5. It was not impressive. It felt really cringy a lot of the time. I felt like it didn't come together as well as it could have been.
But that was for acting.
Yeah.
But
For cinematography, I give it a 6 because a lot of the shots, a lot of the techniques that were being done there's a good couple of them. Like you guys mentioned, the whole like scene of your village is being ran in by Japansies.
Man.
And the police, and it's like, oh no, go hide. Like it was shot well.
Yeah.
I thought that ultimately for how many cool shots there were, and for how the fight scenes and training scenes were shot, they showed a lot of stuff going on, and there was much less dancing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And that is, I would put that with cinematography, not just choreography, because you're trying to get the shot to show off all these things. It's a 6. It wasn't really memorable, but it wasn't memorable in a bad way, like the overall acting was.
Got it. All right. Next category.
action choreography.
Yes.
Chauncey lives for this.
Chauncey, break it down.
This movie ended up having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fight scenes, which 3 of them were just Jackie Chan getting beat up.
Sad face.
And then training scenes. 1, 2, 3, 4 training scenes. All the training scenes were really cool.
Yeah, I agree.
Watching them do the difference between kung fu and karate, that was cool. Showing more throws and yeah.
3 sectional staff. That was really cool.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Jackie Chan's training montage, amazing.
I had no idea he was that beast with the 3 sectional.
Yeah, he's just very good at picking up anything,
In
which is
part
why
two.
eventually he just uses trash cans and ladders.
Oh yeah, true.
And shopping carts.
Have you ever seen Jackie Chan in a windshield weapon factory?
Yeah, I really can't wait to keep digging into Jackie's work.
Yes.
I do want to bring up the for the 3 sectional without spoiling too much of the movie. Like when it becomes a just giant nunchuck, was a really good selling
Oh,
point.
yeah.
That
It
was cool.
Really cool.
Little
was
callback
cool.
to the first movie. So, what do you give it?
Action choreography, I give it, because of Jackie Chan, 6 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10 because I saw Jackie do some stuff that I didn't know he could do. It was pretty sick, man. Some cool little cool sweeping of the legs. So, 7 out of 10.
I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. Jackie Chan really redeems a lot of the movie with just the last half of the movie being action packed. There was all those different training scenes, him just like getting to finally flex his stuff after getting beat 3 times in
Yeah.
a row, right? Like,
Take his revenge.
right. And then on top of that, the bath scene. That was actually really well like put together. There's a couple of WTF moments that we will bring up later, but overall, I think that the bath scene, the bath scene. I got my lift.
Eres español. You speak
The
the King
bath scene
Spanish.
was really, really cool. It was actually, in my opinion, pretty reasonable up until he flamencos the knife, as he said.
Yeah.
It's in my opinion, it's pretty reasonable. He's like, oh yeah, look at me, I'm flexing hard in my steamy bath, and then what's that? There's a reflection in the water. Nani? Literally Nani, and then like grabs them and everything. And then after that, there's the actual fight scene in the bath. That was great. Other than Jackie Chan's training scenes, like I think that was well put together. That's still only gonna give it a 6.
Cool.
Overall rating, and then
I'll give it a 6 out of 10.
yeah, I gave it a 6 out of 10.
I give it a 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go ahead and just say that it's a good movie. It's a good movie that you should definitely check out if you're a Fist of Fury / Bruce Lee fan. You know, you want to watch some of the legendary movies that kind of took kung fu and martial arts films into a new direction. For sure, check it out.
Definitely, if you're at all as big a Jackie Chan fan as you think you are and you haven't seen it, it's worth seeing where his career starts.
Yeah.
Like, this is definitely the first step. You can maybe find the second step in the next movie, if not the one after that. And then all of a sudden, he's just, boom, he's a superstar. He's got movies that are worse than this later on in his career called The Medallion.
Oh, God.
Tuxedo.
Jennifer Love Hewitt. What about you?
I forgot the one where he babysits. That shit was funny.
I did not.
But it was bad.
I did
But it was
not
funny.
watch it.
But it was bad.
It
It had Miley Cyrus's dad in it.
Yeah, it
Just
had
weird.
Billy
And George Lopez.
It was
It was
weird.
weird. It was such
Oh,
a weird
God.
movie.
He also
George.
he had another one that's not as on par with those for being the worst movies he's done, but it was still pretty bad. It was Skip Trace was basically Rush Hour 4.
He had all the older white women looking at Asian neighbors like, wow, what's up?
Okay.
Flexing over there.
Well, that leads us right into our last segment before we sign off, our WTF Momentos.
All right, let me start it off. Con, you were mentioning that bat scene.
I just want to remind you that I saved us. I got 3 what the fuck
Yes.
moments.
And you
for this
reminded me
movie.
of what my what the fuck moment was for me anyway. And so that was the part where the Japanese gentleman or headmaster was about to get shanked in the face with a knife when a guy pulled it out of from under his towel. I don't know if he was hiding it between his dick and his balls. And he flamenco catches it like a rose between his teeth and just like fucking chucks it at somebody behind a pillar like a fucking Spaniard ninja. It was amazing, and I was just like,
I'm gonna
whoa.
say I'm gonna have to go back and just stare at that scene because I'm pretty sure he doesn't take it out of his mouth. I'm pretty sure he just like the camera spins for a second.
He
and
just
still
whips
has
it.
Yeah, he just whips it out of his mouth and kills him. That's why I remember that scene being even more. What the fuck?
That guy's pretty nimble
Uh,
with his teeth.
Technically speaking, the second what the fuck moment, or actually the first what the fuck moment,
Mm-hmm.
is the entire bathhouse scene. Like, in its entirety. I remember Myron making a comment, or Nakansi making a comment about, oh man, that's a really cool shot. Look at the water coming off of the steam. Wait,
So
that's a
magical.
thick leg.
Thick man leg. Oh God.
That's a gentleman.
Hey, I did not say anything about his legs. I just said, oh, whoa, never mind. It's a bad scene.
Good
Never
feeling
mind.
gone. Good feeling gone. What about you, Kanzi? Did you have a good what the fuck moment?
That bath scene threw me off. I didn't like that. I don't like to be surprised like that.
Third, final one is Japanese lady straight up like jumping 20, 30 feet into the air.
Oh, I almost
Kicking-
forgot about that.
Kicking down the sign.
Pow!
It was I forget because I lost the translation. It's Wuxia, right?
Wuxia.
Yeah, the Wuxia films, those kind of fantasy films. That's reasonable in that context. Up until this point, this whole film has been really
That is the proper pronunciation
up until that point, this film was
of that
supposed to
fighting
be-
style, right?
Yeah.
Is that, just so for the listeners know, wuxia is a
Wire work. fighting.
wire work fighting style.
Like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Heck yeah, there you go.
So up until this point, this movie is reasonable in its like.
And it's
Reality-
laws of physics.
Yeah, it's a reality.
Yes.
That you're like, oh no, that like makes sense. They're fighting. It's groundwork. There's none. There's 3 sectional staff. Like this is all feasible. You still have to be fit, but this is all feasible. And then all of a sudden, it's just, daughter, kick down that sign.
You can't just break that into great sound effects, by the way. You can't just like introduce that into this otherwise normal world and be like, oh, also we can jump 15 feet in the air and kick down wooden signs.
Makes sense.
It's
Like,
on
oh, okay.
par
Or not.
with the weird cuts that happen like at that last 30 minutes or so of the film. It's just like they lost the rest of the budget here. They were just like, it's gotta go.
Yeah.
Finished it off.
Guys, there's a lot of fun Easter eggs in this movie. It's a must-watch film. Again, if you are a Jackie Chan enthusiast and you just want to see where this gentleman's career took off. So we hope you guys check it out. You enjoy it. Guys, give us a like if you listen to us and you enjoyed this podcast. Tell your friends.
Share it.
Hit him
Yes.
with that Insta.
Hit up the Insta. We're on HSTSC 33. And give us a follow, give us a like. You can find all our pods in
Our YouTube channel.
Yes.
Yeah, we
the
got the
link is in our
YouTube
bio. Yeah, heck yeah. And then you can go listen to all our pods. SoundCloud is coming, and our website is under construction, so that'll be released soon. We'll make sure we keep you guys filled in on the Instagram for the big announcement.
If you watched the film, let us know what you think about the film. What was your funniest or favorite part? What you thought of Jackie Chan, and also let us know if you have any film that you would like us to review. Even if it's not a kung fu film, we'll give our thoughts on it. But let us be your friends that test the bad kung fu movies for you.
Yes, we will watch them.
We don't mind. Well, maybe afterwards, but.
That movie raped my soul.
Wow.
Before we get going, I'm going to let you do your plugs, Mr. Khan.
Oh, that's right. Everybody knows that I love to shamelessly self-plug my Twitch, where I play. I play a wide variety of games. I'll talk about game music, just game design, kind of like how I do on the podcast. And that is twitch.tv/Cookie Ninja Carve. We can put a link down there as well.
Yes, we'll make sure we include it.
Yes.
Cool.
All right, fam.
We'll see you guys next Kung Fu Friday. Wapa! Pow!